In a desolate, rain-swept ruin, Qin Xiaoyu stands over the defeated Qin Feng, taunting him for his resilience while declaring that the divine artifact, the Eye of Judgment, now belongs to her. Mortally wounded, Qin Feng coughs up blood and questions why she would betray him at such a critical moment. Xiaoyu coldly dismisses him, stating he's not her real brother as he was adopted. A man named Song Fei appears, thanking Qin Feng for helping them acquire the artifact. He reveals they used a soul-stealing blade to drain his lifespan and smugly asks if he likes his parting gift. As he bleeds out, Qin Feng remembers raising and protecting Xiaoyu, realizing he had completely misjudged his own sister. Xiaoyu complains that Qin Feng was always controlling her, and that his only value was his protection, which is now gone. Song Fei tells him to die in peace. As Song Fei delivers the final blow, Qin Feng defiantly vows that even in death, he won't let them get away with it. The year is 2025, the day the godforsaken game descended. When the game began, anyone who fell asleep was pulled into a world where lifespan was currency. Dying cost lifespan, while killing monsters granted it. Players could even bring their abilities into the real world, with the strongest becoming superhuman. Qin Feng recalls his struggle to survive alongside his sister, eventually becoming one of the top 100 players in the world. After overcoming countless dangers, he conquered the ancient god's ruins and obtained the divine artifact, the Eye of Judgment. He felt he finally had the qualifications to reach the absolute peak. He never imagined that the price of his success would be a fatal betrayal from his only family. As his life faded, Qin Feng lamented that all his struggles had only benefited someone else. He refused to accept this end and vowed that if he could live again, he would fight only for himself. Suddenly, he awakens in his bed, realizing he is back in the real world. Looking out at the familiar cityscape, a stunning realization dawns on him. He has been reborn, sent back 9 years into the past, to the very day the godforsaken game first descended upon the world. His thoughts are interrupted when his sister, Qin Xiaoyu, kicks his door open, angrily demanding why he didn't answer her calls. He remembers how at this time, she was an obsessed fan of the famous gamer Song Fei and had always resented his attempts to control her life. Before she can berate him further, he slaps her across the face. Stunned, Xiaoyu asks if he actually hit her. Qin Feng coldly tells her he has no time for her games. He throws a bank card at her feet, explaining it's their parents' money and tells her to take it. As he closes the door on her, he declares that from this day forward, he has no sister. Alone, Qin Feng reflects on how protecting Xiaoyu in his past life cost him countless opportunities for growth. Now free from that burden, he is curious how far he can go. He is determined to use his future knowledge to get ahead of everyone. He vows revenge on both Xiaoyu and Song Fei. Taking sleeping pills, he prepares to enter the game and seize the future he was denied. In the character creation space, Qin Feng recalls choosing the warrior class to protect Xiaoyu. That path is no longer right for him. This time he needs mobility and reaction time. He decides on the assassin class. To his surprise, a notification appears. The divine artifact, the Eye of Judgment, has successfully bound to his soul. The Eye of Judgment activates, revealing its unique attribute. It will grant him the highest rank profession and talent. He realizes the artifact bound to him upon his rebirth and suspects it was the cause of his return. As a dark power envelops him, a message confirms he has gained a hidden profession and is beginning to specialize. The specialization completes, and a voice announces that he has become a shadow. He looks at his hands, now surrounded by dark, ethereal energy, realizing he has obtained a hidden profession he never knew existed. He learns that every profession originates from a primal authority, and he now wields the authority of shadow, a power over killing and plunder. He now has a clear goal. As long as he continues to kill, his power will grow endlessly. Prompted to choose an alias, he makes his decision. He chooses the alias Shadow and enters the god's forsaken land. He arrives in a starter town filled with confused and panicked newcomers. Recognizing that his powerful profession will attract unwanted attention, he decides to keep a low profile. Nearby, a group of new players is easily defeated by a single low-level crawler. They cry out in pain and frustration, complaining that the monsters are too strong and that they've already lost half of their precious lifespan. Another struggling group, led by a woman named Lizzie, spots Shadow. Noticing he appears to be a hidden class, she invites him to team up. Shadow bluntly refuses. Her teammates call him arrogant for going alone, and Lizzie scoffs at his attitude. One of them suggests they follow him to see what skills he has. Lizzie smirks, agreeing to follow him. With a malicious glint in her eye, she adds that maybe they will even get to see him die. In the land abandoned by the gods, a group of players recounts their recent defeat. They were wiped out by the very first monster they encountered, an enemy far beyond what a level 1 player should be able to handle. They take note of a mysterious cloaked figure whose gear seems far superior to their own. Lizzie, one of the players, believes the unusual Shadow player might lead them to crucial intel and decides to follow him. However, Shadow notices her and her group tailing him. Before they can react, he activates a skill called Shadow Sneak and vanishes. The group is left stunned and confused, wondering about his overpowered stealth skill. The other players decide to head back to town, seeing the area as too dangerous. Meanwhile, Shadow remains hidden, reflecting on his unique stealth mastery skill. He knows the beginner town offers no real safety. In this forsaken game, weak players are merely prey for the monsters. As his stealth begins to fade, he prepares for what's next. With his stealth ending, Shadow checks his stats. Remembering his past life, he knows that unlike most players who mistakenly invest in strength, agility is the key to survival. He allocates all 5 of his free attribute points to agility. Just as he finishes, the cry of a monster echoes through the woods. He spots a level 1 crawler, the same monster that wiped out the party of 4 earlier. Shadow recalls a crucial game mechanic. When monsters kill players, they absorb their life essence and evolve, growing stronger. This particular crawler has likely already fed on other unfortunate players. Shadow enters stealth and closes in on the unsuspecting crawler. The creature is completely unaware as he leaps from the shadows, unleashing a devastating stealth break strike. The attack deals an insane 174 damage, killing the crawler in a single hit. He realizes the massive damage came from his backstab skill, which doubles damage from outside an enemy's vision. He reflects on his past life as a warrior, remembering how he struggled for ages just to kill one of these creatures. Killing the crawler rewards him with 5 days of lifespan. He muses that since the monster had only absorbed a fraction of its potential lifespan, the reward isn't particularly useful yet. Suddenly, a notification from the Eye of Judgment's authority grants him a primal talent, Infinite Evolution. This powerful new ability allows him to earn evolution points to upgrade his skills. Astonished by the ability to upgrade skills, a power he'd never encountered before, Shadow immediately tests it. He uses his evolution points to enhance Shadow Sneak and Backstab, significantly boosting their effects. He realizes that with these upgrades, he could have easily one-shot a full HP crawler. Just then, 2 other players approach, with the man commenting on how easily he dispatched the monster and offering to protect him. The burly player condescendingly offers to carry Shadow, unaware of a new threat lurking in the trees above. Shadow identifies the monster as a nurturer. He disappears once more, leaving the pair confused. Before they can question his vanishing act, the massive spider-like monster descends upon them. From a safe distance, Shadow identifies the nurturer as a bronze-grade monster. Seeing it as the perfect test for his newly upgraded skills, he decides to engage. He activates Shadow Sneak and launches a powerful stealth break strike against the formidable beast. His attack lands, dealing 338 damage to a weak point, but it isn't enough to kill the nurturer. The monster, now enraged, has high defense and a simple, predictable attack pattern. Shadow realizes his normal attacks are ineffective, and he needs a new strategy. He throws a rock at the nurturer, and to his surprise, it deals a significant 299 damage. He deduces that his main damage output comes from the bonuses of his stealth strike and class enhancements. His new strategy is simple: throw a rock, wait for Shadow Sneak to cool down, and repeat. He puts his plan into motion. A well-aimed rock strikes the nurturer, triggering his weak point attack bonus. He immediately activates Shadow Sneak, hiding himself while the skill recharges, preparing to strike again. Back in town, a leaderboard update announces that a player named Shadow has slain the nurturer and is the first to reach level 2. Other players are stunned that someone could solo a boss when they are still struggling. Lizzie's group realizes this must be the same player who vanished before their eyes. The duo from the forest also connects the achievement to the stealthy assassin they just met. After defeating the nurturer, Shadow levels up to 2 and receives his rewards. He regrets that the smaller spiders scattered, costing him extra experience. Among the loot, he finds a corrosive dagger and a skill book for Greedy Hand. He is shocked, recognizing it as a god-tier assassin skill that significantly increases loot acquisition. Shadow recalls a player from his past life who, despite average combat strength, became highly sought after solely because he possessed the Greedy Hand skill. He realizes that with his unlimited evolution talent, he can boost the skill's 20% activation rate, allowing him to endlessly increase both the drop rate and quantity of loot. On the way to class, a girl named Xiaoyu is questioned by her friend about skipping an exam for Songfei's birthday. Xiaoyu insists it was her brother's fault they missed it, and he should be the one to apologize. Her friend, envious of her caring brother, notices a mark on Xiaoyu's face, which she dismisses as a fall. As Xiaoyu approaches her classroom, she finds a large crowd gathered. Inside, a student lies unconscious at his desk. The others panic, recognizing his state as the mysterious fake death phenomenon that has been reported in the news, where victims seem to have their souls sucked out. While one student suggests calling their parents, Xiaoyu's friend decides to contact the unconscious boy first. Xiaoyu silently wishes her brother would just drop dead. Meanwhile, in the game world, Shadow successfully evolves his greedy hand skill. After activating it, he gains 2 extra evolution points and more lifespan, pleased with his progress. He calculates that he's close to evolving the skill again for a guaranteed chance at extra loot. Shadow reflects that the world's governments are unaware that items from this game will soon enter reality, leading to chaos. He feels the urgency to grow stronger and equips a new corrosive dagger. Deciding that grinding weak monsters is too slow, he seeks a greater challenge, only to be alerted to an approaching level 2 sprint predator. The sprint predator is already engaged in battle with another party. Their leader, Wang Meng, identifies his team as a full party of rare, hidden classes. He braces for the creature's assault, casting a holy barrier to protect them. Wang Meng's party consists of powerful hidden professions, a prophet, a shooter, and an oracle, each with enhanced abilities. They unleash a coordinated assault on the sprint predator, but the beast withstands their attacks, much to their frustration. The party's healer encourages them to keep fighting, confident in their eventual victory. However, they've forgotten that prolonged battles in the wilds attract unwanted attention. Suddenly, several level 2 corruptors emerge from the ground. One of the party members shouts a warning to Wang Meng as the new sludge-like monsters attack. The corruptors overwhelm the party with their ranged sludge attacks. One of the monsters manages to grab the party's mage, who cries out for help as she is ensnared. Just as the mage is caught, the corruptor holding her is instantly destroyed by an unseen assailant. The party is stunned, marveling at the power required to one-shot a level 2 monster when they struggle with weaker foes. Wang Meng orders his team to focus, hoping their mysterious ally remains on their side. Shadow swiftly dispatches another corruptor, obtaining a new skill book for Venom Dart. He immediately evolves it into a powerful silver-grade poison attack. Without hesitation, he unleashes the newly acquired skill on the sprint predator as it bears down on Wang Meng. Wang Meng is struck by the sprint predator. His healer struggles to keep up with the damage, and Wang Meng tells his team to flee. Just then, Shadow's venom darts strike the beast, poisoning it. The creature falters, its body turning green as the poison takes effect, leaving the party bewildered. The poison rapidly drains the sprint predator's health, and a notification confirms that Shadow has slain the beast, dealing over 90% of the damage. He is rewarded with a level up, evolution points, and a significant amount of lifespan. From the ground, a wounded Wang Meng stares in awe, questioning if their savior is even human. After the loot disappears, Wang Meng calls out to his unseen rescuer, thanking them and introducing himself. He invites the mysterious person to find him anytime. From the shadows, Shadow observes, noting Wang Meng's reliability and connections. He realizes Wang Meng could be a valuable contact for selling his unused loot. Shadow uses his greedy hand skill on the defeated boss, reaping a great haul of evolution points, lifespan, and a new piece of bronze-grade gear. With his inventory now full of valuable items and skill books, he decides it's time to head back to town and trade his spoils for more lifespan. Reflecting on his journey, Shadow acknowledges that his growth this time is 100 times faster than in his previous life. With newfound power and determination, he makes a vow: he will be coming for Song Fei soon. In a dark, rain-swept forest, a group of adventurers find themselves overwhelmed by a monstrous plant-like creature, crying out in terror as it attacks. The last of the adventurers is brutally impaled by the creature's thorny vines. In a town square, weary players discuss the game's brutal difficulty, noting they must reach level 3 to escape. A player warns against large parties, recounting how a powerful boss called the Damned wiped out a group of 40 people. The players' despair grows as they realize their real bodies will starve to death if they remain trapped in the game. A woman named Jiang Li expresses her frustration, having already died 3 times and facing a dwindling tradable life. Another player checks the ranking list and is shocked to see a player named Shadow has already reached level 3. Believing he holds the key, Jiang Li offers a reward of 10 million in cash for his help. In the wilderness, Shadow defeats a contaminator, gaining enough evolution points to upgrade a skill. He evolves his Hand of Avarice, and then spots a hulking creature nearby, recognizing it as the bronze-level boss, the Damned. With a full backpack, Shadow decides against fighting the boss, and marks its location on his map to return to later. Back in town, as players discuss the reward for finding him, Shadow suddenly materializes in the middle of the square. Shadow opens a stall to sell his loot, and the crowd recognizes him as the #1 ranked player. A mysterious hooded woman, whom Shadow identifies as Grey Rose, asks the price for an ice cone spell. Shadow states that the price is 100 days of tradable life, explaining that the common skill is invaluable for mages in the early stages. After a brief negotiation, Grey Rose agrees to the price, and Shadow completes the sale for 100 days of tradable life. Immediately after, Jiang Li confronts him and offers 10 million in cash for help reaching level 3. Shadow recognizes Zhang Li from his past life as a ruthless leader who used and killed her own subordinates. Shadow coldly rejects Zhang Li's offer, calling her scum and telling her that cash is useless here. When she becomes hostile, he warns that one more word will cost her all of her remaining life. Defeated, Zhang Li and her party turn and leave. Having sold all his items and increased his tradable life, Shadow closes his stall and decides it's time to hunt the damned. As Shadow vanishes, the narrator reveals that this game will soon cause the order of reality to collapse, and in that new world, only personal strength will matter. Back in town, Zhang Li fumes, having been utterly humiliated by Shadow. She vows to kill him once they return to reality. Just then, her sister Lizzie greets her, catching her by surprise. A man named Pume approaches Lizzie, offering to help her level up quickly if she invests all her points into agility. Lizzie is wary of his offer, but Pume insists it's a show of sincerity, adding that he knows a way to deal with players like Shadow. Meanwhile, Shadow has returned to the forest where he left the damned. He finds the boss has evolved into a silver-tier monster, a process that should take several more hours. Unwilling to wait, Shadow decides to interrupt its evolution. He lunges forward, using Shadow Sneak to close the distance and strike the creature while it's vulnerable. The newly evolved silver-tier boss screeches in pain from the unexpected assault. Shadow analyzes the boss's abilities, recognizing its venom darts and curse magic. He notes that its most dangerous skill is its curse, which can inflict high damage. After landing a hit, he quickly retreats out of its attack range, knowing a direct hit at his current health would be fatal. Shadow waits for the perfect opening as the boss is stunned. He immediately closes the distance again, unleashing a powerful stealth break strike that leaves the monster vulnerable. With its health nearly depleted, the boss attempts to flee. Shadow observes that its struggles are futile and moves in for the final blow. A system notification confirms he has slain the Curse Master, reached level 5, and gained evolution points and tradable lifespan. Eager to test his new skill, Shadow uses Greedy Hand on the boss's corpse. The skill's extra effect triggers, upgrading a silver tier reward to gold tier. To his surprise, instead of equipment, he receives a large pile of gold coins. He realizes this is an incredible waste of the skill's rare effect, as the coins are useless to him. Back in town, a group of players celebrates their safe return. One woman remarks on how strong their manager is, while another laments that if she had asked that freak for help earlier, she might have accepted. Suddenly, their conversation is cut short when they see the leaderboard update. Shadow has reached level 5. They are all left in stunned silence. The players are in disbelief, wondering how Shadow could have jumped 2 levels so quickly by killing a powerful boss. One man grumbles about the unfairness, while another worries about his sister attracting the attention of such a powerful player. A leader figure calms them, stating they should focus on returning to reality to warn their loved ones about the godforsaken game. He warns them that the world is about to descend into chaos. With that, the group logs off. In the real world, a man known as Brother Wang awakens in a hospital bed. His teammates rush to his side, relieved he's awake after his body had become almost transparent. Brother Wang urgently tells them to gather everyone, sensing that something major is about to happen. At a police station, officers discuss the mysterious player known as Shadow, baffled by his rapid jump from level 3 to 5. A commander confirms that people are becoming trapped in the godforsaken game, where death in-game means death in reality. He issues an emergency command to form vanguard teams and build a professional army to face the crisis. The commander stresses that this event will change the world and assigns roles to Enyu, Wang Meng, and Meng Zeki before dismissing the meeting. A group of women discusses the game, learning that those who sleep in the same district will start in the same village. One woman's thoughts drift to a painful memory from the day before, recalling how she and a man named Song Fei were tragically separated. A wave of hope washes over the woman as she realizes she can enter the game to find brother Song Fei, and she resolves to seek advice from Zhang Wei. Zhang Wei advises Qin Zyro to put all her starting points into agility to boost her casting speed. Thrilled that Zhang Wei promised to carry her, Qin Zyro boasts to Qin Feng, who scoffs at her arrogance. Back in the game, Shadow inspects his rewards from the boss battle. He has acquired several powerful new skills, including the silver tier Instant Shadow Slash and the diamond tier Greedy Hand. While examining his new skills, Shadow is ambushed. Reacting instantly, he unleashes his new ability, Instant Shadow Slash, to counter the level 4 Limb Crawler's attack. The skill proves devastatingly effective, killing the monster in a single blow. A system notification confirms the kill, awarding him 80 experience points and 5 days of tradable lifespan. Shadow reflects on his newfound efficiency, planning to sell his items and continue leveling up to bring his powers back to the real world. After a successful boss fight, Shadow's party members discuss their next moves. One suggests they go back to town and sell their loot for lifespan. Shadow reflects on his unique ability to farm lifespan, a power that makes him feel like a gaming genius as he looks toward the town. In Chill Town, Shadow activates the teleportation formation, earning a reputation point and the ability to teleport once a day. His main goal is to reach level 10 and enter the God's Forsaken Realm, where the true game begins. His sudden appearance in town doesn't go unnoticed. Other players recognize the expert and gather in anticipation. Players eagerly crowd around Shadow, with one man spending 300 days of his lifespan to purchase a skill book. He quickly sells all of his spare items, accumulating 2174 days of tradable lifespan. A young woman approaches Shadow, offering him a treasure. She presents a space ring with 12 inventory slots. He recognizes its immense value, but she doesn't want lifespan. Instead, she asks him to form a party to kill a boss. Shadow agrees to her request and asks about the boss. She explains it's a gold-tier monster she found in a swamp. He connects this to a rumor from his past life about a golden ghost ship and begins to suspect who she might be. He asks how she found the boss, and she explains she stumbled upon it by chance. This confirms his suspicion that she is the legendary lucky player from his past. The woman notices his intense stare and asks him what's wrong. Shadow dismisses her question as they walk away. Unseen by them, a group of men decide to follow, their leader believing Shadow has lured the girl away. The woman continues her offer, promising to help him get any equipment he needs from their boss kills. As they venture into the woods, Shadow tells her he will handle an approaching threat alone. Before she can question how one person can fight a boss, he vanishes, leaving her stunned. The thugs tailing them are baffled by Shadow's sudden disappearance. Their boss assumes Shadow abandoned the girl and orders his men to capture her. As they close in, a dark energy erupts behind them as Shadow reappears. In a flurry of attacks, Shadow swiftly eliminates the 5 ambushers, gaining 12 days of tradable lifespan. He notes that 2 more enemies remain. Shadow reappears, explaining he dealt with some followers. The woman misinterprets his ability as invisibility, but he urges her to lead on to the boss. The newcomer, Black Plum Big Plum, tries to find a party but is quickly dismissed by a group of players. They tell her they don't have time to carry a newcomer and can't waste a spot on a single healer. Feeling dejected, she wonders where to find her brother, Zhang Wei, who had encouraged her to come here. She laments that she can't even contact him with the Wind's Whisper skill. Approaching 2 of the men, she asks if they need a healer, revealing that she has a hidden class called Life Sacrifice. The scene then shifts to a desolate, rainy swamp, where Shadow stands on a cliff, surveying the area below. In the swamp, Shadow confirms the presence of the ghost ship. He instructs Black Plum Big Plum to hide and prepare for ambushes while he handles the boss. As a massive entity emerges from the depths, a system notification alerts Shadow that the area has become a ghost domain, where lifespan is lost at 100 times the normal rate. The boss is identified as the level 5 gold-tier golden ghost ship. A countdown reveals there are only 45 minutes remaining. Realizing the time limit is shorter than he anticipated, Shadow decides to make his move and activates his skill, Instant Shadow Clash. Shadow unleashes a barrage of attacks, landing a critical hit with Venom Dart followed by a stealth break strike. He notes the ship has a few crew members, including a weak skeleton archer positioned at the top. He discovers that the surrounding water acts as a weapon for the skeleton. Even an attack that should have been a one-hit kill barely lands a scratch. To make matters worse, his attack triggers a swarm of decaying water ghosts to emerge from the water. Shadow assesses the new threats, all of them silver tier. He knows they will attack in a frenzy within seconds, and the golden ghost ship will continue to summon more every 3 minutes. Fortunately, his stealth keeps him hidden. He just needs to find the right angle to unleash another instant shadow slash and destroy them all at once. Watching from a safe distance, Black Plum Big Plum is amazed by the power of the rank 1 expert. She marvels at how he appears and disappears without a trace, damaging the boss before it can even react. Shadow suddenly calls out to her as Little Black, warning that he will die soon. He tells her not to worry and to wait for his revival. Confused, she questions why he would die when he has the upper hand and corrects him on her name, stating it's Black Plum Big Plum. He nonchalantly replies, "Got it, Little Black." Elsewhere, the defeated thug leader fumes about his carelessness, enraged that he was bested. His subordinate reports that they've located Shadow and the girl fighting a boss at the bottom of the cliff. Seeing an opportunity for revenge, the leader rallies his men to attack. Back at the fight, Shadow identifies the skeleton archer as the most difficult foe and anticipates the ghost ship's next move. At half health, it will unleash a Massacre Soul Surge. The Massacre Soul Surge erupts, immobilizing Shadow. Caught in the blast, he is instantly killed. A system notification confirms his death, revealing he has lost 326 years of untradeable lifespan and will revive in 1 minute. The thugs arrive just in time to witness the aftermath. Their leader laughs maniacally, mocking Shadow's arrogance for attempting to fight a gold-tier boss alone. Seeing the boss is at half health, he orders his men to charge, eager to kill it and claim the massive lifespan drop from Shadow's death. As the thugs prepare to attack, a brilliant light descends from the heavens, stopping them in their tracks. The group of thugs, previously defeated, reel in disbelief. Their leader questions how a single, powerful attack could wipe out their entire party, including all their summoned mobs. He clenches his fist in frustration, refusing to accept the humiliating outcome. Shadow reappears in the swamp, noticing an abundance of lifespan orbs. Black Plum Big Plum greets him, explaining that a noisy group of people was just wiped out by a water column. Shadow remarks that they overestimated their own strength. He explains that while the boss's attacks are easy to dodge, its true power is unleashed when its health drops to half. With that, he prepares to strike again, unleashing a poison dart. Shadow follows up his poison dart with an instant shadow slash. From a safe distance, Black Plum Big Plum recognizes the defeated group as the troublemakers from before. She asks if they should finish them off, but Shadow dismisses the idea, stating he'll let them go for now. In a display of power, Black Plum Big Plum summons lightning from the sky, decimating the thugs' summoned skeletons. The thugs are stunned by the sudden attack. One of them spots the mage, and their enraged leader orders his men to kill her. Crying for help, Black Plum Big Plum flees, as the furious thugs give chase. Hidden behind a nearby tree, two unidentified individuals silently observe the pursuit. With the golden ghost ship finally defeated, Shadow muses that the fight took too long due to his low damage and the presence of onlookers. He notices the group of thugs nearby, correctly guessing they were waiting to steal his loot. A series of notifications announces his success. He's killed the golden ghost ship, leveled up, and is the first player in Shadowshell Town to defeat a gold-tier boss. The news sends a shockwave through the town's player base. The thugs react to the system-wide announcement, realizing the player named Shadow from Great Hand City was the one who got the kill. Seeing the valuable loot dropped by the boss, their leader's greed takes over. He correctly assumes Shadow is hiding with an invisibility skill and commands his archer, Reli Guang, to use a tracking skill to find him so they can kill him and claim the loot. The archer draws his bow, channeling energy into an arrow. He unleashes his skill, Phantom Horned Eagle, sending a massive spectral bird across the battlefield to locate their hidden target. The leader laments that Shadow's invisibility skill must have a cooldown. When one of his men reports that Shadow has run away, the leader smirks, thinking his opponent is smart to flee. He orders his group to secure the loot, explaining that the ownership rights will soon expire, allowing them to claim everything. Just as the thugs approach the glowing orbs, they are swiftly ambushed and eliminated. Shadow reappears, scoffing at their foolishness. Deciding to find Black Plum Big Plum later, he turns his attention to the loot. He plans to use his greedy hand skill, which has a 100% chance to grant extra items, to gather all the loot at once. With a triumphant cry, Shadow activates his greedy hand skill. The scattered loot orbs are drawn towards him, coalescing into a single brilliant pillar of light. Shadow receives a windfall of rewards, including evolution points, a large amount of tradable lifespan and a special item, the Ghostfire Bell. He examines the item, pleased with its powerful soul-shocking ability and the fact that it doesn't occupy an equipment slot. His inspection is cut short when Black Plum Big Plum calls out, thanking him for saving her. He turns in surprise, looking for his companion. In a dark, rainy forest, a hooded figure calls out for someone named Little Black while hearing cries for help. Elsewhere, a group of thugs surrounds a lone female mage, taunting her for her strong resistance and telling her there's nowhere to escape. The mage, Black Plum Big Plum, wakes up disoriented in the rain. She tries to flee but stumbles and falls into a muddy pit. The thugs catch up, with their leader sneering that she is quite resolute. He tells her there's no need to save her and that it's a misunderstanding, but she should wait for the expert they've hired. Meanwhile, Shadow reviews his recent gains. He has accumulated 42 evolution points and wonders if he should continue farming. He examines his new skill, Undying Shadow Slash, which has evolved to Platinum tier, and his new weapon, the Dual Blade Kusanagi, which deals real damage with every attack. Shadow continues to assess his new gear. His weapon's base attack now adds 10 points of agility, and its speed will improve recovery time. He equips his new gold tier Ghostfire leather armor, noting that with it, even players at his level won't be able to hurt him. He also acquires a new skill book for Ghost Shadow Blur, which grants a high dodge rate and temporary immunity to all damage. Shadow reflects on the new assassin's survival skill. He recalls it being weak for others, because increasing the dodge rate often means sacrificing other attributes. However, he is different. His ability to evolve skills infinitely means he can learn it with only benefits. Deciding it's time to return, he plans to sell some items to Wang Meng. His plans are interrupted as he spots the group of thugs from before. The thugs spot Shadow and immediately recognize him. Panic sets in as they yell for everyone to run. One man pleads not to be left behind as he cries for help. Shadow closes in, ignoring their cries. With a swift movement, he unleashes an attack. A defeated thug questions how Shadow could have killed them when they had their life-saving items. Shadow receives a notification that he has killed 50 players, reaching the first layer of Killer Lord, a title that can't be hidden. Having dealt with the thugs, he arrives in town where he is immediately noticed. A man named Xian Shao stops Shadow, noting he isn't wearing any equipment. He apologizes on behalf of his men, explaining it was a misunderstanding, and offers an assassin skill book, Impale, as a peace offering. Shadow examines the control skill and accepts. After Shadow leaves, Xian Shao's men question why he was so cowardly. Xian Shao scoffs, revealing his true intentions. He sees Shadow not as a threat, but as a money tree due to his high-level status. He plans to keep Shadow close and exploit him, even suggesting they'll hire a professional beauty to trap him. Shadow meets with Black Plum Big Plum, who thanks him for the new gear, exclaiming that her power has risen dramatically. As a thank you, she tells him about an underground ruin she discovered while escaping. Shadow confirms his interest, and she tells him to follow her to Wang Meng's guild to look at the map. Black Plum Big Plum shows Shadow the map, pointing out the ruin's entrance. She explains that she hid inside a storeroom while escaping, but only walked a few steps in before hearing screams which made her flee. Shadow tells her to wait with Wang Meng. With that, he vanishes, leaving her to wonder about the expert. Shadow reflects on his need to grind levels to enter the Ghost City. He considers the 3 types of ruins that appear in beginner zones. No matter the type, they are always filled with low-tier but numerous monsters. To him, these ruins represent a vast sea of lifespan and evolution points, ripe for the taking. The murals seem familiar to Shadow. He has a startling realization. This is the Faith Temple of the ancient God of Judgment, which shares the same origins as his own Eye of Judgment skill. Elsewhere, a party of adventurers is locked in a desperate battle. In the midst of the chaotic fight, one of the warriors cries out for healing. He turns to their mage, questioning why she is just standing there. The young woman seems overwhelmed and unsure of how to act. A massive creature bears down on the group. The swordsman curses as he realizes it's the same monster again and urgently tells the mage to use her skill. Paralyzed by fear, she drops her staff, too scared to do anything. In a different location, another group of adventurers appears far more composed. Captain Subai is praised for arriving so early. A woman in his party begins to berate the timid mage, questioning how she could be so clueless about her own class. The woman boasts about her own power, claiming she'll carry the team. Subai intervenes, telling them to stop arguing and positing that their discovery of the dungeon might have been a lucky accident. The timid mage apologizes, promising to work harder, but her teammate scoffs, calling her party members idiots. Back in the temple, Shadow steps into a large chamber and finds 2 robed figures kneeling motionless on the floor. A system notification identifies them as devout followers of the ancient god. Shadow unleashes an instant shadow slash. He's surprised to see that his stealth attack barely damaged the level 10 silver bosses, whose combined health surpasses even that of a gold-tier monster. He notices they remain kneeling and wonders if his Eye of Judgment is preventing them from attacking. As he contemplates whether they might guide him, the followers suddenly go berserk. The followers shriek and lunge toward him. Shadow braces himself, sensing that more monsters are on their way. He recalls that the Spike Rose Guild was wiped out here and realizes that these followers absorb the lifespan of those they kill. After a thorough search of the area, he finds no traps or treasures, only the 2 silver mini-bosses, which strikes him as odd. After defeating the followers, Shadow levels up to 9 and receives experience, evolution points, and a significant amount of tradable lifespan. Using his greedy hand skill, he loots a valuable assassin-class accessory, the Pendant of the Faithful Soul. He notes the pendant's stats and cooldown reduction will make his grinding much more efficient. As he suspected, defeating all the monsters in the room triggers a hidden mechanism. A stone pillar begins to rise from the floor, revealing a new path. The mechanism reveals itself to be a lift, which descends deep underground. After what feels like a 300 to 400 meter drop, it finally stops. Shadow steps out into a vast, cavernous space, realizing he has discovered the maze hidden beneath the temple. Surveying the dangerous maze, Shadow notes the countless monsters and traps. He decides it would be easier to send a summon to scout ahead, summoning a Soul Eater servant and commanding it to go forward. He first upgrades his Ghost Shadow Blur and Instant Shadow Slash to Epic tier. He reflects that higher-tiered skills require more points to evolve, then uses his remaining points on his Shadow Sneak, noting the reduced cooldown will be a great help. Suddenly, his summoned servant is destroyed by a trap. Realizing the maze is too dangerous to rush through, Shadow decides he must explore slowly and wait for his summon's cooldown to reset. Meanwhile, back in the upper level of the temple, another group of adventurers is present. A defeated party of adventurers regroups. The captain is relieved that the dungeon's time limit seems to have been lifted. A female mage in the group is horrified, recalling how their lifespans were taken away and how an expert shadow instantly killed 2 of their members, wondering if it was a skill cast by a witch boss. After 3 hours of exploring, Shadow believes he has reached the end of the maze. He approaches a large door and commands his servant to open it. The creature pushes against the door but cannot move it. Shadow finds this strange. Shadow tries to open the door himself, but it remains sealed. He then notices a mysterious, ethereal figure guarding a thorn-covered treasure chest. Shadow attempts to gather information on the Guardian, but all of its details are obscured. He has never encountered such a mysterious NPC before, and the figure speaks in an unknown language. The mysterious Guardian suddenly dematerializes. As it fades away, the thorns protecting the treasure chest also disappear, leaving the prize completely unguarded. Shadow assesses his newfound power, noting the effects of his new active skill, Slit Throat. With his total damage now doubled, he feels confident in his ability to instantly kill his next opponent. As his thoughts conclude, he finds himself back in a familiar town. A crowd of players immediately swarms him, excitedly calling out his name, Shadow. A group approaches, identifying themselves as being from Wang Meng's party, and express their gratitude. Just as they begin to speak, Shadow vanishes in a puff of smoke, leaving them stunned. A young mage calls him Little Black and alerts her captain that the expert has arrived. Shadow is taken aback by the sight of the priestess in the group, Chinzao. He is flooded with memories of his past life, where she sacrificed herself to save him from Wang Meng's betrayal. He recalls how she was left to die, a memory that fuels his resolve to use his powers differently this time. The captain, Wang Meng, expresses his deep gratitude and pledges his party's aid should Shadow ever need it. His party members celebrate the new gold-tier equipment they received. Chinzao points out that there is nothing for priests, but Wang Meng dismisses her. She then approaches Shadow directly, introduces herself, asks for equipment, and sends a friend request. Without a word, Shadow dissolves into black smoke and disappears once again. The party is left staring at the empty space, wondering where he went. Alone, Shadow reveals that he did have a gold-tier staff for a priest but chose not to give it to her. He recalls his past life, a time when he was powerless and couldn't even protect someone named Kian Zia. He vows that this time will be different. He will become strong enough to protect those he cares about. With renewed determination, he uses a scroll to travel to Firefly Town. He overhears members of Wang Meng's party rushing back to a fight, worried that a silver boss will be stolen by someone else. They curse a man named Song Fei, who apparently attracts a large following of fangirls. Shadow teleports away again, arriving in the level 9 area, Wiling Valley, a place known for its skilled and experienced monsters. The valley is a scene of utter chaos. A massive, twin-headed silver monster is being attacked, but the players are disorganized. Instead of focusing on the boss, many are fighting amongst themselves, creating a battlefield of infighting and confusion. At the center of the conflict is a man named Song Fei, surrounded by a group of female admirers. Another player recognizes him and angrily accuses him of stealing his kill during the last holiday night event, vowing that it won't happen again. An attack meant for an enemy goes astray, striking one of Song Fei's fangirls. Watching from a distance, Shadow recognizes Song Fei as one of the heavenly kings of the mage class. He recalls from his past life that Song Fei's team often used other players as human shields and cannon fodder, a tactic he finds despicable. Shadow remembers that early in the game, Song Fei's team was notoriously dominant, stealing kills everywhere they went with no one able to resist them. As a result of their reckless tactics, most of his fangirls met swift and unfortunate ends. A group of players gather, determined to avenge their fallen comrade Song Fei. An archer takes aim, firing a specialized arrow into the sky to reveal their hidden foe. The arrow reveals a figure, prompting the leader to order an all-out attack. However, their target is one of their own allies, who is promptly killed in a massive explosion. The leader callously calls it divine retribution, then orders another search for the true enemy, Shadow. Before they can react, an item called the Ghostfire Bell is activated, designed to immobilize all nearby enemies. The entire group finds themselves suddenly paralyzed, unable to move. From the shadows emerges their true assailant, who unleashes a devastating attack called Instant Shadow Slash, wiping them out in a single fluid motion. A nearby mage is stunned by the sudden demise of his party, questioning how Shadow could have attacked without being seen. He turns to warn Song Fei, only to find him already dead. Reacting quickly, the mage throws up a magic shield just as Shadow's attack strikes him down. Shadow contemplates the aftermath, noting the mage had over 2,000 days of tradable lifespan. He wonders why Song Fei's devoted fangirls didn't offer him any of their own non-tradable lifespan, calling it a waste of resources. In a previous moment, the mage complains about his inability to find Shadow, despite using his detection skills. His companion explains that Shadow's stealth level must be higher than their detection. Elsewhere, Song Fei, having been humiliated by Shadow, rallies his followers, vowing to change his class to a higher level to seek revenge. Back in the present, Shadow arrives in a town to find Song Fei's group has vanished. He startles a local player, asking for their whereabouts. The player recognizes him and eagerly points him in the right direction. Realizing a blind search would be inefficient, Shadow wishes he could find Gu Yixu to help him. As if summoned by his thoughts, Shadow spots Gu Yixu nearby. He approaches her and proposes a trade, his powerful staff for her cheaper one, in exchange for using her clairvoyance to locate Song Fei. Intrigued by the offer, Gu Yixu agrees to the deal. Gu Yixu excitedly takes the gold-tier staff, but Shadow impatiently urges her to hurry. The gesture feels oddly familiar to her. She questions his deep-seated hatred for Song Fei, remarking that his voice sounds familiar. Shadow simply tells her to get on with the search. Using her clairvoyance, Gu Yixu sends a spectral bird soaring over a desolate town. After a moment, she successfully pinpoints their target's location, announcing that she has found Song Fei. Gu Yixu's spectral bird locates Song Fei. She provides the coordinates but warns Shadow that they might move. He asks her to add him as a friend for continuous updates, promising the hunt won't take long. As Shadow races through the desolate landscape, he abruptly halts. Gu Yixu, communicating remotely, asks why he stopped. He instructs her to scan the area for similar trees. She quickly spots two more nearby, giving him their locations. Shadow approaches one of the trees and touches a strange symbol glowing on its bark. Activating the symbols causes a brilliant pillar of light to erupt from the ground, revealing a jade-tier treasure chest. Shadow marvels at his luck, recognizing it as a rare ancient god's blessing. Gu Yixu is ecstatic, exclaiming that the chest is worth a fortune, recalling a similar find from her past that sold for an astronomical price. While Gu Yixu's owl observes, she notes Shadow's technique for activating the symbols, hoping to find more herself. Inside the chest, Shadow discovers a skill book for Blossoming Curse. He recognizes it as a devastating skill, a curse that drains the tradable lifespan of an entire guild through a single corpse. Without hesitation, he learns the skill, declaring that Song Fei's days are numbered. Meanwhile, Song Fei and his followers are busy fighting a powerful boss, feeling secure that they've escaped Shadow's reach. Just as Song Fei vows his revenge, his brother spots another group fighting nearby. They are shocked to see that the other group is composed of new Jaiki's fans. The rival fans immediately become hostile, rallying to attack Song Fei's group. Song Fei's party, however, misinterprets the situation, believing the new arrivals are reinforcements to help them defeat the boss. The misunderstanding quickly dissolves into bloodshed as one of Song Fei's followers brutally strikes down a fan named Ah Long. The leader of New Jaiki's fans is enraged by the unprovoked attack. The battle intensifies as another fan, Meisha, is cut down. Undeterred, the remaining fans begin chanting their slogans, their voices rising in a passionate declaration of loyalty. Their chant echoes across the battlefield. Song Fei, witnessing their devotion, is deeply moved and thanks his family for their support. His followers simply tell him thanks are not needed as they continue their chant. Far away, Shadow completes his ritual, activating the blossoming curse on a corpse. A dark energy swirls as a sinister flower begins to bloom. At that exact moment, Song Fei clutches his chest, a look of shock on his face as he sees Shadow appear before him. Song Fei realizes with horror that he is already dead. His brother cries out his name as his body disintegrates, and on the ground where Shadow performed the ritual, a massive, ominous red flower blooms. Song Fei's remaining followers can only stare in terror at the colossal, supernatural flower that has appeared, wondering what it could possibly be. Elsewhere, Song Fei, known as Trabanus in-game, collapses in agony, bewildered as to how Shadow could have found him. A system notification flashes, informing him that his lifespan is continuously decreasing, and he reels from the pain, wondering what kind of penalty could be this severe. Panic erupts among Song Fei's followers as his brother urges him to log off immediately, warning that a strange power is draining his lifespan. Furious at the turn of events, Song Fei vows that this isn't over, refusing to be defeated by Shadow after training for so long. Shadow stands amidst the lingering effects of his devastating curse, as a system message warns that excessive player killing now results in a loss of lifespan upon death. Gu Yixu confirms that Song Fei and his fans have all logged off. Shadow instructs her to keep watch and alert him the moment they return. Shadow asks a priestess if she is ready to leave, but stops her to offer a gold-tier priest skill. She eagerly agrees, and he tells her to wait for him in town. He offers her the skill book at half price on the condition that she joins a team as their long-term healer, which she initially misinterprets. She agrees but warns that she'll complain if the team is too weak. Assuring her they are decent, Shadow prepares to contact them. In a rainy forest, a different group of adventurers celebrates defeating a monster. One of the warriors, afflicted with poison, asks his party's healer, Xiaoyu, to cleanse him, and she confidently agrees. Xiaoyu casts her cleanse spell, but it veers off course. She apologizes as the poisoned warrior collapses, and the party captain remarks that they must find a better healer. Later, Xiaoyu proudly notes that she has reached level 4, hoping to soon meet Song Fei. Meanwhile, Wang Meng is told by his brother that Shadow has recommended a strong, hidden-class priestess for their team, and they decide to head to Ember Town to level up with her. Abruptly, Wang Meng informs Xiaoyu that the team is moving to a higher-level zone, and she is being left behind because it's too dangerous for her. Xiaoyu tries to protest, but the team departs without her. Left alone, she mutters that she didn't want to go with them anyway, confident that expert Shadow will help her. Just then, a group approaches, and a man calls out to Shadow. The man introduces himself as Wang Meng and his sister, Wang Li. Wang Li, a justice executioner, introduces herself as the captain of the Dragon Execution Guild. She explains that they've been searching for him, having heard that he possesses a Dragon Emperor's skill. Wang Li proposes a partnership, stating her guild will take all future gear and that he cannot kill her, as she is the official spokesperson for Jianghai City's lifespan trading. Shadow agrees, reflecting that while she acts naive, having her as a shrewd liaison will save him considerable trouble. Panic spreads as an official announcement reveals the grim reality of the God-forsaken game. The in-game lifespan is real, and reaching 0 means death in the real world. One woman is horrified, realizing she gave all her tradable lifespan to someone named Song Fei. The news causes widespread fear as players check their remaining time. One woman laments having only a few years left after dying just 3 times. Another player, a tank mage, is down to his last day of life and refuses to believe the grim news. His despair turns to hope when he sees a notification that Song Fei is buying lifespans, and he resolves to seek him out immediately. The tank mage enthusiastically runs off to find Song Fei. Elsewhere, a young woman wakes up and checks her phone, delighted to see that a single day of lifespan is selling for 15,000 yuan. With 200 days saved up, she realizes she's already a millionaire. Her joy evaporates as she reads the latest news. Shadow has massacred Song Fei 3 times. She breaks down, recalling how Song Fei had told her the in-game lifespan wasn't real. Distraught over his losses and terrified by Shadow's power, she wonders why Song Fei is being targeted. A plea for help spreads among Song Fei's supporters. He needs lifespan urgently and has increased the buying price. Discovering that Song Fei is in Dajiang Plaza nearby, the woman feels indebted to him and resolves to go help, determined to sell him the zoned-out sparrows she has saved. Meanwhile, in the game, Shadow single-handedly defeats a swarm of monstrous creatures. A system notification congratulates him for being the first player globally to reach level 10, rewarding him with attribute points, reputation, and unlocking career advancement. The system also announces that a teleportation function will activate once 7 players in Jianghai City reach level 10. A global announcement declares Shadow as the first level 10 player, stunning the player base. Many, including a disgruntled blacksmith, express their disbelief and envy. Shadow reviews his status, noting his vast lifespan and hidden profession. He realizes he must wait for 6 more players to reach level 10 before he can leave the initial town. Satisfied with his progress, Shadow decides it's time to return to reality and settle some affairs. He logs out, waking up in his room. Accessing a system interface, he chooses to bring his in-game power into the real world. He spends 1,000 days of tradable life to extract his hidden class, Shadow, immediately feeling his physical attributes increase. He continues the process, spending another 1,000 days to extract his level, further enhancing his stats. Though his skills are too high level to be extracted yet, he uses 2285 days of lifespan to upgrade his Shadow Walk skill. A wave of power surges through him, transforming his body to a state far beyond that of an ordinary human. Now empowered, Qin Feng checks his phone. He sees that Song Fei is buying up life, likely preparing for a real-world confrontation. He calculates that at his new speed, he can reach Song Fei's location at Dajiang Plaza in about 10 minutes. His thoughts are interrupted by a buzzing phone and a demanding text from his arrogant supervisor, Hu Kibin, insisting he cooperate with a young lady who has taken an interest in him. Qin Feng dismisses his supervisor as an idiot and promptly blacklists the number. Surrounded by a faint aura of his newfound power, he walks away, thinking that soon, everyone will understand the true nature of the God-forsaken game. At a massive venue, a crowd passionately chants Song Fei's name. Backstage, a woman reveals her plan to lure a target into the real world with money, then capture him so Song Fei can teach him a lesson he'll never forget. The woman scoffs, calling other players useless idiots and boasting that Song Fei has many devoted followers willing to give him their own lifespan. A man in the crowd tries to warn everyone not to sell their lifespan, reminding them of the official announcement that death in the game means death in reality. The protester accuses Song Fei of murder and threatens to report him, but Song Fei calmly takes the stage. He addresses the crowd, framing his actions as a way to inspire people and bring positive energy to society. Feigning remorse, Song Fei offers a sincere apology to the crowd, which moves his fans to tears. The adoring fans praise Song Fei's gentleness. An especially fervent fan rushes the stage, yelling at those who doubt him and questioning how a game could possibly affect reality. The fans' words ignite the crowd, who begin shouting their love for Song Fei and offering up their remaining lifespans. Song Fei approaches the woman and embraces her as she tearfully declares she would die for him. Suddenly, the atmosphere shatters as his associate looks on in horror. Song Fei's body dissolves into black particles. He collapses lifelessly to the stage floor as panic erupts from his associate and the crowd. The crowd screams that Song Fei is dead as bodyguards rush to secure the young lady's exit. She recalls seeing a ball of light appear on Song Fei's body before vanishing, realizing someone must have stolen it. She concludes that only one person, using skills from the game, could have killed him so instantly. As one of her bodyguards speaks, he is suddenly impaled by a beam of light, dying instantly before her eyes. The unseen assassin, Shadow, makes his presence known. News breaks of a shocking incident. The celebrity Zhu Fei has died tragically in Dajiang Square. In a bizarre turn, several of his most devoted fans also perished beside him, having seemingly sacrificed their own lives. The police are baffled, concluding that the cause of death was supernatural. Two young women reel from the news of Zhu Fei's death, which they just saw at his concert the day before. One of them, Xiao, is in disbelief. Her friend wonders aloud if someone could have assassinated him, recalling a rumor that the player Shadow had killed Zhu Fei 3 times in the godforsaken game. She questions if it's possible for in-game abilities to manifest in the real world. Convinced that Shadow is the killer, Xiao's grief turns to resolve. She believes the assassin used in-game abilities like throwing knives and cloaking to murder her beloved brother Zhu Fei. With her world shattered, she decides she must get stronger and get close to Shadow. As her friend looks on with concern, Xiao declares that her sole objective from now on is to kill Shadow and avenge Zhu Fei. Elsewhere, a young man named Qin Feng eats noodles. His meal is interrupted by a buzzing phone. It's a message from his former guildmate, Yang Xiaoya, forwarding a threat from his boss, Fatty Hu. Show up to work or be fired without pay. Xiaoya adds her own advice, telling him to forget the job and join her in the game to grind for levels. Yang Xiaoya's message continues, mocking Qin Feng for his apparent in-game death and for wasting his money on a god-tier ability. She reveals she's now with Qian Shao of the powerful Qian group and that she has a new life. She coldly informs him that their company is now focused on the game, predicting that a person's in-game status will soon dictate their real-world standing. Just as he finishes reading, his phone rings with a call from Xiao. Qin Feng answers the call. Yang Xiaoya is surprised he's alive, having thought he died in the game. She boasts that she's earned enough to buy a house and tells him to never contact her again. When she demands to cease all communication, Qin Feng's simple, calm okay leaves her speechless. He hangs up and walks away without another word. Qin Feng knows he must continue leveling up. He anticipates that it won't be long before the world discovers that game abilities can be used in reality, an event that will shatter global peace. Meanwhile in the game, Xiao's friend Chu Yuan questions her for cutting ties so harshly. Xiao scoffs, revealing she sold the life force to the Qian group for 2 million. Now with a new house, her next goal is to get close to Shadow, pondering how he might be useful to her. A man from the Qian group gives Xiao a soul control skill book as payment, reminding her not to forget what he promised her. He asks her to see if her brother Wang has any other rare skills. He then lays out their sinister plan. Once Qian Shao masters the skill, he will use it to turn Shadow into a loyal puppet. He instructs Xiao to get close to the assassin, promising to make him suffer, enslave his soul, and eventually kill him personally. Fueled by hatred, Xiao practices with a dagger, vowing to avenge Zhu Fei by scooping out Shadow's eyes. Her thoughts are interrupted by a message from her big boss, who dismisses the skill she just acquired as useless and tells her to sell it. The scene shifts to the recent past, where a group of adventurers faces a powerful monster. A cloaked figure, Shadow, realizes this is no ordinary boss and that he must fight to survive. The adventurers are overwhelmed by the monstrous golden arthropod, a level 8 boss. One of them screams a warning as the creature targets his companion, but it's too late. The adventurer is swiftly and brutally dispatched by the monster's bladed limbs. Watching from a distance, Shadow assesses the situation. He correctly identifies the creature and realizes it possesses a level 2 anti-stealth ability. This means that against this particular boss, his signature stealth skills are completely useless. The battle rages on as Shadow unleashes a flurry of attacks against the monstrous golden arthropod, dealing significant damage. He knows that attacking from outside the creature's field of vision grants a massive damage bonus. However, he also recognizes the boss's formidable defense, a carapace that regenerates every 30 seconds. An onlooker watches in awe, wondering if she's witnessing a fight against a legendary monster. The golden arthropod's incredible speed and multiple limbs make it a difficult opponent to evade. Shadow unleashes a poison dart, striking the creature. Realizing the danger, a nearby woman shouts a warning to him. The woman worries that Shadow can't possibly dodge every attack. Shadow acknowledges that his agility isn't high enough and wishes he had a shield skill. He then executes his blade dance, a powerful multi-hit attack, knowing it's most effective against a stunned opponent. The golden arthropod scoffs, finding this fight easier than previous encounters. The woman is stunned by its incredible speed. Despite the monster's confidence, Shadow lands a final, decisive strike. A system notification confirms the kill, rewarding him with experience, evolution points, and a significant extension to his life. Shadow is thrilled with the rewards from the golden boss, which include 28 evolution points and almost 2,000 days of life. To his surprise, he also loots a platinum-level assassin skill book called Blacklight Shield. He remarks on the rarity of such a drop, knowing that acquiring skill books from bosses is usually a difficult feat. Shadow immediately puts his new resources to use. He spends his evolution points to upgrade the Blacklight Shield and his poisonous darts, as well as equipping new gear like the City of Lightness boots and heavy crimson leather gloves. With his newfound power, he feels confident he could now defeat the boss much more easily. Now significantly stronger, Shadow assesses his improved stats. He approaches a group of players and offers to sell a gold-level skill book, Frost Ejection, to a mage for 800 days of life. She balks at the price, but Shadow explains that it's a level 7 skill that will increase her damage by over 40% when fully upgraded, justifying the cost. The mage agrees to the deal, and Shadow receives his payment. As he leaves, he devises a plan to spread information about the boss's location, ensuring a steady supply of opponents for him to farm. His thoughts are interrupted by a message from Wang Meng, who tells him that Qin Xiaoyu wants to give him a skill book. Shadow dismisses the offer, assuming it's a worthless item. Wang Meng relays the rejection to a stunned Xiaoyu. Wang Meng then gets to his real question. He asks Shadow directly if he was the one who killed Song Fei. Shadow calmly confirms it, admitting he was the killer. This confirms Wang Meng's suspicions, as he knew Shadow was offline at the time of the murder, making the motive and opportunity a perfect match. Shadow challenges Wang Meng, asking if he intends to arrest him. He sees this as a perfect opportunity to probe the Daxia authorities' reaction, anticipating that the secret of game abilities being usable in the real world will not be a secret for much longer. Qin Xiaoyu asks Shadow to confirm if he killed Song Fei. Shadow calmly admits that he did, explaining that he acted in self-defense since Song Fei and his group tried to force them to work for them. He explains that he won the right to use his abilities in the real world in his last life, but now, he needs to sell his unused equipment from the previous game era to gain more lifespan. Shadow offers several pieces of equipment, including platinum and gold items, in exchange for lifespan. With the deal complete, Shadow praises Captain An's decisiveness. He explains the value of the equipment, then declines an offer to join their group, while Qin Xiaoyu confirms his identity as their team's killer. Before departing, Shadow warns the group that Jiang Industries is also buying lifespan, and they must make the most of their time. After Shadow leaves, Wang Meng instructs his squad to split up to boost their overall leveling efficiency. He designates their top priority as getting everyone to level 10 and reporting the new intelligence. Elsewhere, others notice Shadow has set up a shop again, this time selling coordinates for a silver boss and a gold boss. The subordinate recalls his partner, Jiang Lei, being killed before he was captured and tortured for days in a basement. Shadow mocks him for his past subservience. The man tries to leave, and Shadow dismisses him before announcing he has silver boss coordinates. A group of foreign players complain about their situation, with Miss Kyan expressing disgust for the weak local players around her. A man from her group compliments Miss Kyan's taste, agreeing that they are superior to the local men. Miss Kyan becomes intrigued upon hearing Song Fei's killer was Shadow, fantasizing about meeting him now that her former leader is gone. The group's new leader announces a gathering to hunt down Shadow, offering a reward of 3,000 days of lifespan as Qin Feng vows revenge. In a torrential downpour, Ling Yu struggles against a formidable foe, sighing that he can no longer hide his true strength. In her new apartment, Xiaoyu is starving, frustrated that with everyone in the God's Domain game, all delivery services are closed. She reminisces about how Qin Feng always used to cook for her, but quickly shakes off the memory, stealing her resolve by telling herself she is better off without him. Back in the game world, Shadow efficiently dispatches a giant crab-like monster, reflecting on his progress. His cooldown reduction has jumped to 75%, drastically shortening the wait time for his instant Shadow Slash. He recalls that in his previous life, it took a 20-man team a month to defeat the first Platinum boss, a feat he now intends to accomplish alone. After selling some items, his tradable lifespan has reached 105 years. Just then, another player approaches, recognizing him as Shadow. A player offers Shadow a well-paying hit on a real-world target. The man persists, revealing the target is a nobody named Qin Feng and that the job would be easy money. The man explains the client is offering 3,000 days of tradable lifespan and reveals the client is Kyan Shishi, who is using the job as a pretense to meet him. Shadow deduces that Kyan Shishi's true motive is to make contact with him. Finding her methods interesting, he agrees to the deal. He'll accept half the payment as a deposit, but makes it clear that the timing of the execution will be his to decide. The transaction completes, granting Shadow 1,500 days of tradable lifespan. The informant provides the target's location, which Shadow is surprised to learn is his own address. As the informant walks away grumbling, a woman approaches Shadow. She offers to sell him the coordinates to boss. She specifies the boss is the Plaguebearer. Shadow is skeptical that a healer can stand against its poison damage, but since she knows its name and location, he tells her to simply guide him. A woman leads Shadow to a cave, explaining that while her team defeated the other monsters, they were unable to beat the boss inside. She points out their target, the Plaguebearer, swirling in a pool of poison. After Shadow transfers 100 days of longevity as payment, she grows serious and warns him that this is actually a trap. She confesses that she was instructed to get close to him under the pretense of stopping him, all to uncover his real-life identity. The woman reveals she's being blackmailed by Dongfeng Xian, also known as Xianyan, and wants him dead. Shadow recognizes the name as the person who once tried to steal from him. Dismissing the plot as childish, Shadow announces he's going to kill the boss regardless, treating the encounter as a minor annoyance. The woman tries to stop him, frantically explaining that Dongfeng Xian's previous team of 18 was wiped out by the boss's poison in less than 30 seconds. Shadow unleashes a devastating attack on the boss, inflicting massive damage. The woman is stunned, realizing his single blow took out 2/3 of the gold-level boss's health. Just then, Dongfeng Xian appears with his party, ordering them to enter the cave and kill the weakened boss. The woman recognizes them and worries if her teammate, Naigai, is strong enough to hold them back. Naigai summons a gold-grade shield to block Dongfeng Xian's party. A defense few could breach this early in the game. Shadow notes the rarity of the shield, speculating she must have found it in a gold-grade chest. As Dongfeng Xian's group charges the shield, Shadow unleashes an instant somber cut. Shadow casts a curse of the ill flower that blooms, instantly annihilating Dongfeng Xian's entire party. The woman offers to help him loot, but he tells her it is free for her. With the ambush dealt with, he finishes off the Plaguebearer, gaining experience and 555 days of longevity. He asks the woman if she needs anything else, but she quickly declines and says she is leaving. Among the loot, Shadow is pleased to find a rare assassin skill book. He learns the platinum-level skill, Darkest Moment, which creates an area of blinding black light. He realizes he can use it to blind enemies, even those in stealth, to activate his double damage bonus. After a successful harvest, Shadow had more than enough evolution points and was just short on experience, which he quickly gained from some small monsters. With his preparations complete, he was finally able to advance his job. He became a first-tier knight, gaining attribute bonuses and a powerful passive stealth skill. Just then, a system notice announced that the teleportation array to the god-abandoned continent would soon open for all level 10 players. Shadow noted his first-place position on the leaderboard, a significant departure from his previous life, and looked forward to the changes he was making. Meanwhile, in the real world, authorities apprehended a major criminal group but reported that 3 key members were still logged into the game, beyond their reach. High-ranking officials discussed the challenge of criminals using the game to hide, while also recognizing Shadow as a powerful asset they needed to recruit. Back in the game, an associate contacted Shadow, praising him for his recent heroic actions. After confirming the teleportation array was ready, Shadow prepared to depart for the god-abandoned continent. Other players at the teleportation site were baffled, unable to see anyone, realizing Shadow's stealth was too high for them to detect. He arrived in the ruins of Jianghai City, a place identical to its real-world counterpart, a mystery he recalled from his past life. His thoughts were interrupted as a monster suddenly emerged from the rubble to attack. Shadow easily dodged the attack with Ghost Shadow Blur, and retaliated with a flash shadow slash, killing the earth elemental instantly. He surveyed the ruined city, recalling that while there were no safe zones, one could establish a stronghold by clearing out an area of monsters. Drawing on his memories, Shadow knew the best shelter was in the northwest, the same location that would become the guard-slaying guild's shelter in his previous life. A sudden ambush by grotesque monsters interrupts the group's exploration. Reacting instantly, Xiaozu casts a spirit protection spell to shield her comrades. The party members launch a coordinated counterattack, using skills like Binding Shot and Prophetic Flame to dispatch the monsters. The group celebrates their hard-fought victory against the monsters. The leader instructs Xiaozu to have her owl scout the surrounding area from above. The owl spots a massive battle in the distance, realizing it must be the work of the boss controlling the monsters. Just as they regroup, more monsters appear, prompting the leader to suggest they follow the trail of dropped items to find Shadow. The leader orders everyone to stay in formation and fight while retreating. Shadow effortlessly dispatches waves of monsters, noting that the area is perfect for farming. Beneath the ruins, he discovers a vast, hidden underground facility, recognizing it as the former hideout of the guard-slaying guild. A system notification announces his arrival at the hideout. Now inside the land of soul purification, he learns he must defeat the territory guardian to claim the area, a challenge he feels ready to face alone. He is immediately confronted by a group of powerful level 12 gold elemental spirits. Shadow activates his skill, Moment of Absolute Darkness, enveloping his enemies. He follows up with a devastating instant shadow slash, cutting through the blinded spirits. With the spirits blinded, all of Shadow's attacks deal extra damage, allowing him to kill the minions with ease. After clearing the 15 monsters in the main hall, he considers the immense size of the land of soul purification, acknowledging the massive task ahead. He realizes that once he clears out all the monsters in the side rooms and defeats their guardians, the final boss will appear. Two figures are transported to a desolate, ruined landscape, finding the scenery oddly familiar as they recognize the decaying landmarks of New York and London. They stand before the ruins of London, shocked by the discovery. They realize with horror that people from different regions have been sent to the ruins of their own hometowns. Before they can process this, monstrous creatures emerge from the rubble, forcing them to flee for their lives. The scene shifts to the ruins of Shanghai City. Their leader, Anai, finds a safe spot and suggests they rest and recover. Noticing that the remaining monsters are all heading in one direction, they wonder what's happening, and one member resolves to contact Shadow if he's nearby. Meanwhile, Shadow finishes clearing the last of the monsters in the side holes, tallying his rewards. He receives a message from Wang Meng's party, who have found items he left behind and offer to pay for them. Shadow faces the guardian of the area, the Soul Purifier, knowing that defeating it will make him the master of this land. His slit-throat attack connects, but it isn't enough to kill the guardian. Shadow assesses that his current stats are too low to overwhelm the boss, unlike in his past life where he had support. This time, however, he is determined to win on his own terms. Refusing to give the boss an opening, Shadow continues his assault. The Garage Firm Blade's instant death effect triggers, dealing massive damage and forcing the boss into its second phase, which unleashes powerful lightning strikes. Shadow unleashes a venom dart, swiftly moving to take out the Guardian's defenses. He knows that destroying each of the 3 orbs will weaken the Soul Purifier and trigger its third and final phase. As the final phase begins, the Soul Purifier unleashes unavoidable wide-area lightning attacks. Shadow recalls how his past guild needed a full team to survive, but he is confident that this time he won't need such measures. With the ground constantly being struck by lightning, Shadow activates his Dark Light Shield and uses Graceful Release to launch an aerial assault. Shadow unleashes an instant Shadow Slash, decisively ending the battle. A notification confirms his victory over the Platinum-grade Soul Purifier, leveling him up to 11. He reflects on the hideout he's just claimed. While places like this became safe havens, the modern world's military technology proved useless against the monsters. He recalls his former guild, Guard Slayer, which used this very place as its expanding base. This time he resolves to forge his own path, determined to grow strong on his own and reach the top. The scene then shifts to a rainy forest. In the downpour, a party of adventurers struggles against a massive wolf-like beast. One of the players is swiftly cut down by the monster's enormous axe. Back in a safe zone, a woman named Xiaoyu respawns, frustrated at having died again, while her party member complains that the boss's axe is simply too big to dodge. The party's tank, Gale Storm, is blamed for the failure and angrily leaves. With their defender gone, Xiaoyu becomes the boss's next target and is quickly killed. A world announcement echoes through the city. A player named Shadow has become the first to defeat a platinum-grade boss. The news sends shockwaves through the player community, who are stunned that someone could achieve such a feat while they struggle against a mere silver boss. Xiaoyu is particularly incensed, wondering how Shadow could be so powerful. Meanwhile, Shadow reviews his loot. Reaching level 10 has unlocked the ability to evolve his greed hand skill. He uses his evolution points to upgrade it to legendary, unlocking a new passive effect called Devout Follower. Shadow examines his newly acquired Devout Follower skill. He uses his remaining evolution points to upgrade several skills, including Stealth, Final Blow, and Tower of Death. He realizes that the upgraded Tower of Death is a God-tier skill, as it will prevent him from ever running out of non-tradable lifespan in dangerous high-level zones. Later, Shadow meets with a female subordinate who congratulates him on his platinum boss kill. She informs him that Dongfeng has logged out and that his family has bought the concentrate needed to enter the game. Pleased, Shadow tells her not to worry and that he will now go find what he's looking for. Nearby, 2 other players spot his approach. The subordinate greets Shadow enthusiastically. She offers to buy over 30 items from him at a discount, and they strike a deal. Another player, sent by Brother Dragon, offers Shadow a platinum scroll. As he departs, Shadow gives the man a cryptic warning to watch his back. As Shadow walks away, the woman insists to her companion, Captain An, that Shadow must be a reincarnator. He urges her to be quiet, but she playfully suggests she should try flirting with Shadow instead, leaving her companion speechless. A man known as Shadow stands in a desolate landscape, having just completed a level synchronization. He reflects on his past life, where his Shadow stealth skill was only level 1. This time he is determined to not only raise its level but also acquire more skills, vowing to not let the past repeat itself. Shadow completes the synchronization of his skills and equipment, having spent thousands of days of lifespan to power them up. He acknowledges that he still needs to spend more to achieve full synchronization as he transitions back to his physical body. In his room, Kaian Shishi knows his target, Dongfeng Xian, is nearby. He plans to extract the fire god's soul crystal from him first. Activating his greedy hand skill, he materializes his in-game storage in the real world. After locating Dongfeng Xian at the Jiangnan restaurant, 20 kilometers away, he prepares to depart. Moving with supernatural speed, Kaian Shishi calculates it will take him only 10 minutes to reach his destination. Meanwhile, at the Jiangnan restaurant, the Dongfeng family discusses the new reality where in-game abilities affect the real world. They see this as a golden opportunity for their family to build strength and rise to power. The head of the Dongfeng family praises his grandson, Dongfeng Xian, outlining his ambition to monopolize the game's resources and establish their dominance. Dongfeng Xian silently harbors his own treacherous plans, vowing that once he becomes number 1, they will all die. He then reassures his grandfather that he has a plan to capture Shadow alive, believing Shadow's true value lies in serving the Dongfeng family. A member of the Dongfeng family toasts to their future success, feeling secure with his summoned devout follower acting as a guard. He knows the creature's weak point but remains confident. Shadow makes his dramatic entrance, shocking the room's occupants. One of the men transforms into a grotesque monster from the game and lunges forward. The others draw their weapons and open fire. The bullets prove ineffective. Suddenly, the monster is enveloped in a strange green energy, and it lets out a blood-curdling scream of agony. As the monster attacks the family patriarch, he desperately calls out to his grandson, Dongfeng Xian, for help. Seeing the situation spiral out of control, Dongfeng Xian decides to abandon his family and flee. He believes his only hope is to escape and enter the game. Suspended upside down, a terrified Dongfeng Xian sees Shadow standing before him. Without a word, Shadow activates a skill, the Curse of Blooming Flower. Instantly, the floor erupts with crimson spider lilies that swarm around Dongfeng Xian. The curse drains Dongfeng Xian completely. A system notification confirms that Shadow has absorbed 482 years of his lifespan. Looking down at the result, Shadow remarks on his massive harvest. The police force storms the Jiangnan restaurant, alerted to a disturbance. They find the VIP room in complete disarray but strangely empty. Confused by the sudden disappearance of the entire Dongfeng family, they decide to report the bizarre situation. Elsewhere, Shadow has already identified his next objective, the Kaian Group. Shadow recalls that the Kaian Group's headquarters moved to North America before the game's appearance. However, the president's daughter, Kaian Shishi, remains in Madu. He must eliminate her before she can leave the country. Realizing the 200-kilometer journey from Zhanghai to Madu would take too long on foot, he decides he needs a mount. He logs back into the godforsaken game. Inside the game, Shadow speaks with a young boy named Zyro Hai, who recounts a recent event. A woman looking for supplies at a supermarket was attacked by a group of men. Before they could harm her, a monster appeared and wiped out the attackers. Zyro Hai explains that the woman was a gifted individual who then fell into a hole that appeared nearby. Shadow approaches a well, identifying it as the entrance Zyro Hai mentioned. Commenting on the woman's luck, he leaps into the darkness without a second thought. A system notification confirms he has entered a new dungeon, and the entrance has been blocked. In the gloom, a low growl alerts him to a nearby presence. He is confronted by a level 12 vengeful ghost. Shadow remembers this monster from his past life. He'd never encountered one at such a low level before. He knows its most dangerous ability is a powerful self-destruct move upon death. Aware that a single hit could be fatal, he prepares to strike with his instant Shadow Flash and graceful release skills. Shadow swiftly slits the ghost's throat. He observes that the boss has high defense against normal damage, but his graceful release skill renders its defenses useless. As the creature falls, it begins to glow ominously, initiating its self-destruct sequence. The monster explodes, unleashing a wave of corrosive energy. Shadow realizes he was careless and failed to dodge, but his Shadow stealth skill triggers automatically, saving him from certain death. He recalls how entire teams were wiped out by this corpse explosion in his past. Using his greedy hand skill, he loots the monster's remains, obtaining a Dark Knight ring and resentment leather armor. Shadow inspects the Assassination Edge skill, noting that the Shadow class has strong single-target attacks. He then uses his evolution points to upgrade the Dark Knight ring. The ring's attack range increases from 5 meters to 12, and its damage also receives a significant boost. He reflects that while its damage isn't exceptionally high, its large area of effect makes it an excellent mob-clearing skill, unlike his ultimate skill, Shadow Slash. Compared to Dark Knight Pierce, the ring is more efficient when surrounded. Next, he examines the resentment armor. Its high defense and level 11 requirement make it a perfect replacement for his current gear. After converting the other miscellaneous loot into lifespan, he feels well equipped and ready to leave the dungeon to find a mount.